Welcome to Talking Crue, the unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 146 this week. Motley Crue live at Day on the Green 1987 Girls Tour review. But first, this week in Motley news, happy 44th anniversary to the Motley Crue song. I call it the Icon song. Live Wire, released on August the 16th, 1982. I talk about this song on the Too Fast for Love album on episode 3. And then I also talk about the Leather Records version of Too Fast for Love on episode 117. So in case you missed both of those, go check those out. Happy 19th anniversary to the 6am album, The Heroin Diaries, released on August the 21st, today actually, 2007. I talk about this album in the Nikki Sixx series, episode 87. Congratulations to Motley Crue. The song Kickstart My Heart hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. I think this is absolutely freaking awesome. So congratulations to them and to us, the Crue heads. We're the ones that made it to 1 billion streams. John Corabi is in the news. He announced a new show. He will take part of Bama Rock, that's RAWK, Festival in Fulton Dale, Alabama. The festival takes place on September the 18th and runs through the 20th. John Corabi will be there on September the 18th, so check out johncorabi.com for those tour info. Motley Crue is in the news this week. On Thursday, they announced there's Mini, M-I-N-I, Crue Kids Collection, t-shirts and little onesies and stuff like that. That's actually kind of cool, I think. So check out motley.com for all that information on that. And that's it in Motley news this week. Now I was going to do this last week, and then I kind of held off to find the words that I really wanted to say. The rant of the week, but I'm changing this because I was listening to Motley Crue live in Las Vegas during the residency. I was listening to that show, or one of the shows, from work and back home, and then it dawned on me, I shouldn't be calling this rant of the week. I should be calling this the primal scream of the week. So that's what I'm going to be calling this from here on out. Tell me what you think about that. Okay, so here we go. I talked about this last week. Nikki was on the interview with Joanne Butler in the studio with podcast. He mentioned this, and everybody kind of took off with it, especially these rock websites, where Nikki says it doesn't interest him anymore on doing full-length Motley Crue albums. He finds it more exciting doing singles or EPs. And of course, everybody overreacted, and I've seen a lot of people commenting and, oh no, the sky's falling kind of thing. But if you really think about it, this is actually not new at all. In fact, when he said this during this interview, it brought back memory of Tommy Lee. After they released Saints of Los Angeles in 2008, in 2009, people kept asking, when's the new Motley Crue album? When's there going to be a new Crue album? And Tommy Lee would always say he wants to do singles and EPs. That's more fun. Why spend a lot of money and time in the studio when you could bash out a couple of singles here and there, or an EP of 3 or 4 songs. So that was back in 2009. So when Nikki says it, 2026, everybody's got their panties in a wad. And it's not new. And if you really think about it, again, if you go through the Crue history, they did exactly what Tommy Lee said. We got 2012, we got the song Sex, and it wasn't on a physical album. It was a single. All Bad Things Must End wasn't physical copy. It was a single, digitally Easy for me to say. So yeah, and then we get the Dirt soundtrack. We got 4 new songs. Then canceled. First things first was Dogs of War. Came out as a single. Then they decided to put it physical on a LP or a vinyl. Then we get canceled. 3 more new songs in a vinyl and CD. And if you put all that together, you get a full-length Motley Crue album. So to me, I think as long as they're putting out something, whether it's a single or an EP, I'm happy. I think everybody's kind of overreacting on this, but like I said, Tommy Lee said this way back 2009. So yeah, so don't overreact. Calm down. I'm sure there's new Motley music coming before too long. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But yeah, so just hang tight on that. So that's the Primal Scream of the week. Now, if you hear all that mess, that bum bull crap, I'll clean it up for my younger listeners that listen to this. That is not me. He waited until, I'm talking about my neighbor, he waited until I got home and he started playing and turned it up as loud as he can. It's in his truck and he's standing outside sitting on the porch. Why in the world would you? Anyway, so I apologize if you hear that stuff. I'm so sorry. Alright, so enough with all that. Let's get into some stuff to talk about Motley Crue. This is episode 146, Motley Crue Day on the Green 1987 Girls Tour Review. In fact, I'm wearing one of my new Girls Tour shirts with them taking a bow with Nasty Habits. So I thought I'd break that out since we're talking about the Girls Tour. On this week's episode, I'm just going to continue on what I'm calling the Motley Crue 45th Anniversary Mini MINI Concert Series. I started it on episode 144, Motley Crue Live in San Antonio, Texas, 1983 Shout at the Devil Tour. And then last week was episode 145, Motley Crue Live in Frankfurt, Germany, 1986 Theater of Pain Tour. And that leads us into this one. So let's go info and facts about this show. Day on the Green was a music festival that was held annually by promoter Bill Graham. He started it back in 1973 and it ran all the way till 1992. They were all held in Oakland, California at the Oakland County Coliseum, which is the home of the Major League Baseball team, or Oakland Athletics, and former home of the NFL football team, the Oakland Raiders. Graham sadly has passed away, and he passed away in a helicopter crash in 1991. The Rock Festival has been revived in 2015, and it's still going on to this day. Now, in 1987, there was a 4 Day on the Green events shows. Day 1 was July 24th, 1987. The headliner was Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead. Now, I'm going to skip Day 2. So, skip Day 2. So we're going Days 3 and 4. They were held on November the 14th and the 15th of 1987. The headliner on one of those shows was the band from Dublin, Ireland, U2, and the Pretenders. But the show I really want to talk about is Day 2. October the 10th, 1987. The opening act was Jet Boy, who I remember reading in music magazines or seeing their pictures in music magazines, but I never really listened to them. If you have, write me a comment down below. Should I check them out? The support acts were Poison and Whitesnake, and of course the headliner was Motley, M&F, and Crue. So let's talk about the stage. The stage floor is red. There's 3 stacks of what looks like amps. They kind of light up and they rise up at the beginning of the show. Tommy's drums are in what looks like a steel cube. Really cool looking. Regular mic stands for Nikki and Mick. 2 mic stands for the Nasty Habits, Amy Cannon and Donna McDaniel. 2 huge, I'm talking huge, video screens on each side of the stage. So if you're in the Stevie Wonder section, as Tommy and Nikki would call it, way back there where you can't see beep, you got these video screens for you to watch the band. And also on it, there is on each side, one says Motley, the other says Crue. And also above the stage is a video screen as well. Now the show. Let's talk about the show. I did find it on YouTube, but it's not the whole entire show. I will post it in the comment section down below and on the Talking Crue Facebook page. This is a little bit over an hour, just like an hour and 2 seconds or something like that. I'll explain a little bit more. Begins with some music being played over the PA. Then there's a stripper song that plays, and here comes the amps. They slowly rise up and light up. Then the announcer says, "From Hollywood, California, the bad boys of rock and roll." And as that's going on, Tommy is playing the drums and Motley Crue. Then we get into song number 1, All in the Name Of. Kicks right in, power goes off, there's some balloons are being released. The band sounds absolutely freaking incredible. They absolutely rock this song. It's so freaking good. I love All in the Name Of. Song 2 is Livewire, the Icon song. Amazing performance of the Icon song, but it kind of cuts in at the very end of the song. That's what I was saying. It's not the whole show. It kind of comes in and out on a lot of spots, and this is one of them. Then at the end of the song, Vince says, "How you doing, Oakland? Make some noise. You want to go dancing?" And then they go into song 3, and that is Dancing on Glass. They go right into this one, and this is the first time you see Donna and Amy on this song. This song sounds absolutely freaking amazing live. I forgot how great this song is live. Love this song, freaking awesome. Then Vince gets the crowd clapping along as they go into song number 4, Looks That Kill. They go straight into this one. Some power goes off. Fantastic live, classic Crue. More pyro goes off. Fantastic crowd reaction. More pyro towards the end. Vince's voice on this song is absolutely incredible. It's so good. Then Vince does some audience participation. Then they go into the intro of the next song. Song 5 is 10 Seconds to Love. This one cuts in again, so it's not the whole song. You see the backdrop behind Tommy Lee's drum kit. It's the girl that's doing like this, and she's looking behind her. You'll know it when you see it. Vince introduces Nikki as Nikki plays the bass, and then Nikki falls down. Vince then brings a bottle of Jack Daniels and says, "Man down." Nikki drinks some, and then he gets right back up, and then he hands it to Tommy, and then Tommy finishes the whole bottle. Then they finish the song, and then Vince gets the crowd singing along. Fantastic live version. I love it. Then Vince introduces the next song, song 6, Red Hot. They go right into this one. Amazing lighting on this song, especially with the amps. Amazing live version, classic Crue. Love this song. At the end, some more fire and pyro go off at the end of it. It looks incredible. It's so freaking good. Vince introduces the next song, and Tommy introduces Tommy. And then they go as Tommy walks towards the piano, which is in front of the stage, and they go into song 7, Home Sweet Home. Uh, they play it like the original. Whoever filmed this did an amazing job, because when they're playing this song, especially the beginning, whoever's holding the camera pans the whole crowd, and all you see is the cigarette lighters, as Ozzy would say, "Show me your cigarette lighters." But it looks absolutely freaking incredible. And then they go into the song. The song sounds absolutely incredible. Never gets old to me. Love it. Love it. It's so good. Then Vince introduces the Nasty Habits, Amy and Donna. And they go into the next song, song number 8, Wild Side. They rock this song absolutely amazing. It does jump at the end, so you don't get the whole entire song. The lighting for this is incredible. Love it. Then Vince introduces Mick. Mick's guitar solo sounds fantastic. It doesn't show all of it. Jumps into it, gets into it, and then kind of jumps, and then all of a sudden Tommy Lee is doing the drum solo. As he starts the drums, they kind of rise up and go towards the front of the stage, and then he talks about having that crazy dream he had. He said he wants to tilt to the left, a little bit to the right, and how about let's do 90 degrees, and then the dream didn't stop there. Let's just flip it all the way around, and it just flips and flips, and then he goes upside down at the very end, and then says, "I love you, Oakland," and then power goes off. Then they go right into the next song, and that is song number 9, Shout at the Devil. They go right into this one, tons and tons of fire. Absolutely incredible live version of classic Crue. Love this. It's so freaking good. Then Vince says, "Are you ready to smoke 'em? Let's smoke 'em, boys." So we get into song 10, and that is Smoking in the Boys' Room. They go right into this one. Again, check out the lighting on this. Looks absolutely incredible. Freaking awesome live version. Love this song. Crowd singing along. It's so good. Vince says, "Are you ready for some old school rock and roll? We got some bad beat boogie woogie for you, boys." And then they go into song 11. That is Jailhouse Rock. They go straight into this. Sounds amazing. But then here we go. It just cuts itself off. That's how the show or this bootleg is. But it's a terrific bootleg. It kind of gives you a really good sense of what this girls' tour was all about. In fact, there's other girls' tour bootlegs that I'm going to talk about in the concert series, so stay tuned on that. To me, this is, as I mentioned towards the end of last week, to me this is a historic thing. They took part of Day on the Green. Not a whole lot of bands got to say that. And they headlined. They headlined this show. In fact, I looked it up. They sold this thing out. So, think about it. 1987, there wasn't a whole lot of rock bands doing stadiums at all. Unless you were the Rolling Stones. That was basically it. And then 87, U2 blew up because of the Joshua Tree. Love that album. But they started playing football stadiums. So Motley Crue headlined this, and then a year, 2 later, Bon Jovi headlined Giants Stadium. So it took them another year before they would headline. But yeah, again, it's historic. It's Day on the Green, Oakland Coliseum, a football or a baseball stadium, I should say, and they sold the freaking thing out. Awesome. Think about that. 1987. Not a whole lot of bands were doing that. So now, being the Motley fanboy that I am, I'm going to break down the set list. They play 1 song off of Too Fast for Love, 3 songs off of Shout at the Devil, 2 songs off of Theater of Pain, and 4 songs off of Girls, Girls, Girls. Now, they did play more, but it's not on this video. So the rest of the show that they played was the encore. After Jailhouse Rock, they went into the encore, which was a medley. They did Helter Skelter, Highway to Hell, Walk This Way, and Rock and Roll. And then they did encore number 2, and that was Girls, Girls, Girls. So who knows where the rest of this show actually is. It's probably sitting in somebody's box somewhere collecting dust. I don't know, but or maybe they just ran out of videotape. I'm not really sure. But still incredible. Definitely check this out in case you've never seen it. So homework this week. Was you there in Oakland, California, Day on the Green, 1987? Or did you see Motley Crue on the Girls, Girls, Girls tour? Write me a comment down below. And a bonus question for you. Who was the opening act? Was it Whitesnake or that little band that kind of made it big, Guns N' Roses? So yeah, write me a comment down below. Love to know. And that's it for this week. Next week, I'm going to continue on with the Motley Crue 45th Anniversary Mini Concert Series, but with the last episode of the series, episode 147, Motley Crue Live in Tokyo, Japan, 1997, Generation Swine review, tour review. And like I said, that's the last one of the series. If you know anybody that's a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Hit that share button, copy the link, and send it to them. Tell them go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and tell them type in Talking Crue. All the episodes will pop up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button yourself. Give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out the podcast a whole lot. I want to welcome all the new subscribers on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Welcome aboard. It is absolutely freaking fantastic to have you here. I want to thank everybody who gives me a thumbs up, send those homework questions. Love that as well. And that's it for this week. I will see you guys next Friday, and hopefully that won't be playing in the background. And that's it. I'll see you guys next Friday, and you just took a ride on the wild side.